早かったね。サウナ入ったの？サウナ入ったの？
入ったよ。
なんか入ったの？
いいか。
12時に終わって今26分だけど、入ってシャワー浴びたの？すぐ
浴びたよ。
時間あったんだね。
was one of the most disgusting displays of his hypocrisy and disassembling and lying and propagandizing. To stand up there and act like he's somehow in favor of really closing the border and making it tight and keeping people from coming in. I mean,
金曜日、男の人。忘れ物ない？
ない。
ロックも持ってきた。ロック。
持ってきた。
One thing if you say, hey folks, I made a mistake. We have been too lax. We've blown it, but we're going to correct that. Okay, well at least okay, well maybe he's acknowledging. Oh no, the borders.
石鹸使ってんの？洗った時頭とか。
使ってるよ。シャンプーあるもん。
People come over with Biden T-shirts on, and they get here saying Biden invited us to come. And he's going to stand up there as if no, none of that's true, and oh no, this is we are born again, tight border people now, and we want our border closed. Oh, give me a break. And the sad thing is, folks, these people who are engaged in this undermining of our nation, our sovereignty, our prosperity, our stability. They will go back to their mansions, they will go back to their gated communities, and they will live the lives of Riley. While the American people, the average American who's out here trying to earn a living, the small business person, the worker who now has to compete with all of these illegal immigrants.
サングラス持ってきた？
持ってきた。
帽子もかぶってたけど。帽子は？帽子かぶってた帽子。
帽子何あるよ。
OK 分かった。
It's unconscionable. I said there was a third thing, and that is I was going to address crime, but I'll deal with that briefly when we come back and then start to take your calls. The number is 888-589-8840. That's 888-589-8840.
It's my turn.
Here is your host for My Turn, Don Wildman.
Out of the papers came the story of Salty. Salty is a 21-month-old mongrel. Not an average dog, mind you, but a determined dog nevertheless. Salty belonged to Mrs. Margie LaBeouf of Detroit and was her pet. She kept Salty for some time and then gave her to some friends in the suburbs because she said, "My place is so small, I thought it wasn't fair to keep her here." Well, the new owners kept Salty until she gave birth to a litter of puppies, and then they gave Salty to a family in Sheboygan, 272 miles northwest of Detroit. Mrs. LaBeouf gave Salty away in August, and Salty stayed with the second set of new owners until around the middle of December. Then Salty suddenly disappeared. For the next 2 weeks, Salty traveled over 272 miles of woods, fields, streams, roads, and towns, from a place where she'd never been before. And although Salty perhaps didn't know where she started from, she did know where she wanted to go. Home. Back to Detroit and to Mrs. Margie LaBeouf. On New Year's Day, Mrs. LaBeouf went downstairs to take out the trash, and there stood Salty. She knocked me down and started licking my face and kissing me, says Miss LaBeouf. She was wet and tired and so dirty that it was difficult to tell what color she was. Her paws were bleeding and she was starving. But with tail wagging, Salty was home. Home at last. The journey was over. Salty Salty set out for something she wanted more than anything in the world, and she got it. It's a story about a dog, but if you'll raise the level just slightly, you'll find the same truth about humans. For we humans, like Salty the dog, usually get to the place in life where we want to go. The reason many of us never get any farther than we do is very simple. We never really want to get any farther. I can recall the story of one man who set out to accomplish something in life, something he wanted more than anything else. And the road that led to his dreams wasn't an easy one either, but he wanted to go, and he paid the price. Through towns where he wasn't wanted, over roads where he was spat upon, through valleys that echoed the hatred that the good people had for him, he traveled. When he finally arrived at the place, accomplished that which he wanted to accomplish, he was bloody and bruised and weak from a merciless beating, but he was not beaten. In his hands were huge holes caused by the metal spikes with which he was suspended on a cross. And as if this was not enough, someone slashed a hole in his side to see more blood flow. While Salty came home dirty, tired, bloody, and shaggy, she got what she wanted, to see her master again. And the Galilean accomplished his goal too, to make it possible for us to see our master. And because of his journey, for many of us, the journey is over.
This has been My Turn with Don Wildman, a production of the American Family Association.
The Awakening. The Awakening. Download and listen at your leisure with the podcast page at afr.net. Now, back to our host, Bishop E.W. Jackson.
By the way, folks, not to put too fine a point on it, but the Biden family has been engaged in this corruption for as long as Joe Biden's been in office. This is not new. We're just finding out about it. I've been banking, and some of you are in the same position. I've been banking, and I'm not a millionaire or anything, but I've been banking for, well, all of my adult life, for at least 50 years. And of course, all of this monitoring of transactions that might be suspicious started happening in 911. I have never, ever had a suspicious transaction flagged in all the years I've been banking. The Bidens have 170 suspicious transactions. I mean, what does that tell you? They're engaged in money laundering. That's what it tells you. And it's only their name and their power that's kept them from being called on the carpet and investigated long before this. Well, let me mention one other thing, crime. And I will leave it at this, folks, for this. There's an organization in Colorado. They call themselves the Here for the Kids, with the number 4, Here for the Kids. And they are demanding that Colorado ban all weapons. They are demanding all guns, that Colorado ban all guns, and that it's a confiscation with buyback. In other words, everybody must surrender all firearms, and you will be compensated, I guess, for those firearms, but you will not be allowed to keep any firearms at all. And you know, it struck me. That's why they're releasing all these criminals onto the streets. That's why they're allowing crime to run rampant. They're trying to bring the American people to a point where they say, well, you know, we can't take it. It's just too violent, too many guns. Yeah, you know, the average American hasn't really thought through this, hasn't thought through the power of the Second Amendment and why it's there. Yeah, we've got to get rid of the guns. Something's got to give. And before you know it, you've got the country surrendering our firearms to a totalitarian government, because it's reached a point where people are afraid and they don't know what else to do. There are over 300 million guns in America, but I guarantee you most of those guns are probably held by a small percentage of the people. I don't know what that is, but a small percentage of the people who are gun enthusiasts and enjoy guns for recreation and like to hunt and that kind of thing. a lot of people, you hear this with the politicians, you hear it with Joe Biden, you hear it with some of these other people, they don't have a clue. They don't even know which way the thing works. These are the kind of people who, if a gun got jammed, they look down the barrel to see what's wrong. You know what I mean? Right? It's like Joe Biden said, they have these things called magazines. You know? They don't have a clue. And those are the people who frightened enough would say, yeah, we got to get rid of the guns. The guns are the problem. The guns are the problem. And they keep saying, guns have killed. Guns have killed. Guns don't kill anybody. Human beings kill people. The gun can't do anything without a human being whose heart is set on murder. Lord have mercy on us. I mean, it's just, but folks, I'm confident of this. That's why we need to continue to speak truth, because those people, like people I just mentioned, who don't know anything about these matters, and they're just kind of listening to the Marxist Socialist No Brains channel and the Communist News Network, we've got to talk to those people. We've got to speak loudly and clearly and say, hey, look, you're being lied to. You're being manipulated. 888-589-8840. Let me go ahead and get to your calls. Let's go to Mark in Texas. Mark, welcome.
Thank you. I just want to quickly say thank you, and I pray for you. Thank you for everything you do, and we pray. But I wanted to ask, when you see a dripping faucet, you turn it off. Why in the world don't they stop the border crossings and tell them that's enough and stop Biden from doing what he's doing? Take away his salary, do something, impeach him. I just don't understand who is going to pull rank and cause this to stop. Thank you, sir. Have a good week.
Thank you, Mark. Thank you. You too. You too, my friend. Thank you for the encouraging words. And look, we've got to change the makeup of the Congress and put people in there who are going to rein him in. I mean, he's talking about ignoring the debt ceiling and just like he's going to make himself Congress and president all rolled into one. And you're right. I mean, we've got to speak up. And right now, we don't have the votes to put a stop to it. But let's hope that after 2024, we will. We don't have the votes in the Senate, at least. We don't even have the votes to override a veto, probably, unless it was something special that the Democrats jumped on. I can't imagine what that would be. Let's go to Curtis, first-time caller. Curtis in Georgia. Curtis, welcome.
Curtis, welcome, Georgia.
There you go, Curtis. And you turned your radio off.
Yeah, my opinion is, how come they couldn't reinstate Title 42? And plus, like you just said, it's the people behind the guns. If you take all the guns away, the bad people won't get them up the streets and online order and stuff.
Yeah.
That was my question.
Well, Curtis, first-time caller, did great, Curtis. Call me again sometime, but thank you for the call. Yeah, the expiration of Title 42, Title 42 has to do, of course, with COVID. And I think it was scheduled to expire and was extended. And the Biden administration had the authority to extend it, didn't want to. Others sued, and it was extended for a time, if I've got my facts straight on this. But the Biden administration made clear that they wanted it to be allowed to expire. It was the requirement that people could not come into our country as a result of COVID. They had to wait in Mexico to be processed. Biden wanted that ended. Now, you're right. The Congress could pass a law, but the House could do it, and we don't have the votes in the Senate to ratify it, because all these Democrats want these open borders. I'm absolutely convinced of it. Well, no. Somebody pointed out there are a number of them who have been objecting. Most of them, overwhelmingly, they want the open borders. And the few who don't are a very, very small minority. Thank you for the call, my friend. Let's go to Mark in Tennessee. Mark, welcome.
Good afternoon, Bishop Jackson. Thank you for taking my call.
Thanks for calling, Mark.
All righty. Well, I tell you, we've got a national security crisis at the border, no doubt about it. We need a multi-state coalition of National Guard forces, armed National Guard forces, and maybe even a volunteer militia. And we've not only got the invasion of illegal aliens, we got the drug cartels.
Okay, Mark, you disappeared on me. I got most of it. Thank you for the call, Mark. You're right. We got the drug cartels too, and don't forget we got communist China feeding fentanyl to the drug cartels. We've got an unspeakable mess on our hands. There is no question about it. Look, I think your idea is a good one. It would be great if we could get states together and all send the National Guard to the border and just put a stop to this. Because the Border Patrol is just, at this point, they're stuck doing paperwork. And Biden's going to send troops down to the border, and they're going to be doing paperwork too. And according to Mayorkas, what they really want to do is try to process people across the border as quickly as possible. This is a manufactured crisis. They don't care. Once again, they do not care about what it does to the country. They care about what they think it does for their power base. Yes. Folks, the number is 888-589-8840 rather than short changing you. Chris, stand by. I'll come to you right after the break. 888-589-8840. That's why this upcoming election is critically important. Back in a moment.
What does the American Family Association stand for? We believe true morality flows from biblical principles and directs people to the manner in which God intends them to live. These values and more are part of our mission to inform, equip, and activate individuals to strengthen the moral foundations of our culture. We also support the church. We want to be a leading organization in biblical worldview training for cultural transformation. Thank you for standing with us as we seek to stop the erosion of godly values.
Friendships is offering an exciting opportunity for young adults who want to grow in their walk with God, become physically fit, and learn relief ministry while serving in the Middle East. This is an amazing opportunity to serve God and experience Israel. Check out Seahawks one-year scholarship program at friendships.org or call 337-433-5022. That's 337-433-5022. The next session begins August 19th.
God made his design for marriage and family absolutely clear. Unfortunately, Satan has a totally opposite view. The Marriage Family Life Conference 2023 wants to restore God's plan. July 6th through the 8th at the Cadence Bank Arena and Conference Center in Tupelo, Mississippi. Strengthen your marriage and your family with Abraham Hamilton III.
Having been made members of his eternal family, we now have a responsibility to consider how to stir one another up.
George Barna.
You cannot say there's a one-size-fits-all approach in ministry. If you've got a church of 1,000 people, you have 1,000 different stories, hurts, fears, doubts.
Dr. Lee Brand.
People gather together in buildings with steeples on top and crosses out front and never mention the name of Jesus, and that's sad.
And many more. The Youth Apologetics track is back as well. The Marriage Family Life Conference 2023 for His glory alone. Register today at marriagefamilylife.net.
I want you to take a verse, and maybe it's like 2 Timothy 1:7. For God has not given me, make it personalize it, a spirit of fear, but of power, love, and here's the key word, sound mind. Write that verse down, put that on that 3x5 card.
Dr. Gregory Jantz on Focus on the Family Minute.
And I want you to go outside, 20 minutes, half hour, I want you to go for a walk. And I want you to just start breathing outside. I want you to pull that 3x5 card out and say God's word out loud. Say that out loud. And begin to do something to just renew your mind. Now, it sounds really simple. But while you're doing that, I want you to take your water bottle with you. Right. I want you to start drinking water. Under stress, we tend to drink less water. When we're anxious, we drink less water. Start drinking your water again.
Hear more from Dr. Jantz at FamilyMinute.org.
Back to the Awakening with Bishop E.W. Jackson on American Family Radio.
We're back. The number is 888-589-8840. Let's come right back to your calls. Let's go to Chris in Ohio. Chris, welcome.
Yes, sir, Bishop Jackson. Well, we love you. We listen to you every day.
Thank you, sir.
I just want to project some encouragement to everybody to go watch the movie Big George Foreman. I boxed during that era in the Army and middleweight, and so I knew all these people that boxed. George Foreman, a great American hero, and what he, oh my goodness, and how he ended up becoming a preacher after boxing, and then came back to win the title at 45 years old. So I know you probably know the whole story, but it's been playing in Ohio here, and we went and seen it twice. Every bit of what that movie projects, I know it for a fact. It's all true. And what an encouragement. All young people ought to go see that movie.
Thank you, Chris. And George Foreman loves America too. That's the other thing I love about him. Yeah, he loves the Lord. But look, folks, if you truly fall in love with Jesus, if you truly know God, and you are honest with yourself, how can you not love America? How could you not? But, apparently some people haven't gotten that revelation yet. Thank you, Chris. Yeah, I'll check that out because I like Big George. Let's go to Ellen in Virginia. Ellen, welcome.
Good afternoon, Bishop. Thank you for all you do, and I just am so happy that you're a fellow Virginian.
Thank you, Ellen. Ellen, I am glad to be a Virginian.
Me too. I'm asking forgiveness. I had two questions, and I'm going to change what I was going to ask you, which I've noticed. I live in Chesterfield. I have noticed a lot of these huge box apartment buildings being built, and it's like they're not attractive. They're not like usual apartment buildings. They're just these huge box, and they're kind of in strange places that aren't like attractive. So I've just wondered if that's happening at other places in the country.
Well, I can tell you one thing, Ellen. I don't know about other places in the country, but based on my travels, I think you're observing something. It's certainly happening here in our area of Virginia. It's happening here in the southeast section of Virginia, Virginia Beach and Norfolk. Are you suggesting that they may be building these things for illegal immigrants?
Yes, sir, I am.
Yeah. Ellen, thank you for the call. I hadn't thought about that. Ellen, but that is something worth taking a look at. Because, look, if you're a plugged-in builder, given the corruption we know is in our government, you're a plugged-in builder, and you're working with these people who are bringing these folks in by the millions, and they're telling you where they're going, and the government's going to pay for their housing. I mean, it's a boondoggle. Oh my goodness! It's like hitting the lottery, and I hadn't really thought about that, Ellen. So thank you for bringing it up. But this is why we've just got to put a stop to this lawlessness. Jesus said, because lawlessness would abound, the love of many would grow cold, and we are witnessing that before our very eyes. Let's go to Edgar in Maryland. Edgar, welcome.
Thank you, Bishop, for taking my call. Just a comment on Governor Newsom, California, how he can pay those reparations back. We have the inflation like they had in the Weimar Republic in the 1920s. The government can print up $20, $30 million bills, and as long as they're willing to pay the shipping charge, he can pay all those debts off.
Wait a minute. I must have missed that. Where's all this money coming from?
The reserve currency that the world holds of U.S. dollars, when they hit the inflation point of the Weimar Republic, will be worthless.
Oh, okay. I've got you, Edgar. All right. Well, thanks for the call, Edgar. Let us hope that we never have to turn to that as an answer to this on either count, either in paying reparations, because as I said, I hope that idea is cast onto the dung heap of human history, never to rise and trouble our country again, A. And B, we certainly don't want the inflation of the Weimar Republic. You all remember the sort of glib description of that? You took a basket full of cash, come home with a bag full of groceries? No, thank you. But if they keep spending the way they're spending, that's certainly where they're trying to take us. Thank you for the call. Let's go to Tommy in Alabama. Tommy, welcome.
Hey, how are you, Bishop? I love your program.